We've got a lot of plants to prep today, so I don't want to waste anybody's time. My name's Alex. Welcome back to Leafy Street. Let's prep some plants for a bioactive setup. Before we do anything, we're going to want to prep our substrate. All these plants are going to make it into the fresh mix. Today we're using an ABG mix from Josh's Frogs. Pretty simple little blend, kind of tropical, maybe slightly subtropical, but definitely not arid. That works out well because that's the exact substrate we'll be using in our bioactive setup. This will help acclimate the plants and get them used to their new conditions.
Oh man, I wish you could smell this. Oh, it smells like the forest. So good. Oh, I almost fell.
Now on to the absolute most important step in this whole process. We need to remove all of the old soil from the roots, and for two big reasons. The main one is for pests and hitchhikers, like fungus gnats or slugs or ants. If there are any present, there's a really good chance they're inside the substrate. And the second reason that not as many people might be aware of. If you got your plant from a Lowe's or a Home Depot, or even a plant store not dedicated to reptiles, there's a really good chance you got a good deal, but they also use fertilizers. Fertilizers are toxic to your reptiles. Through transpiration, plants will release the fertilizers through their leaves. If you're keeping a species like a gecko that gets hydration through licking leaves, guess what they're licking up? Fertilizer. We gotta get it out. The soil out in my garden kind of sucks, so I'm gonna use it to fertilize. Nothing goes to waste here. I wanna get that out of there though. We don't need any more microplastics in my bloodstream. It's also a really good idea to rinse the leaves too. If there are things like spider mites, this is where they'll be. I feel like it goes without saying that if you're gonna get a plant for your bioactive enclosure, try to make sure that it looks healthy before you get it. If there's things like yellow leaves with spots or little webs on the leaves, or if the plant just in general looks a bit sad, maybe just pass on it even if it's like a crazy deal. Probably not worth it. You don't want one plant to nuke your entire setup. Great. All right, so the hardest part is over. Now we're moving on to a step that is sort of optional. I like to soak the plants for about half an hour in some hydrogen peroxide. Not just hydrogen peroxide, you want to dilute it a little bit. In this size container, I put in about 1/4 of a bottle of peroxide. It's probably not enough, but I feel like it's gotta be doing something. But if you want something a bit more intense, you can do a really diluted bleach solution. I'm gonna put the ratio on the screen because I do not want to mess that one up. And now we are in the home stretch. I like this part a lot. We're gonna be taking the substrate from the first step in the video, rinsing out all the pots that the plants were in before, and transplanting them back into that fresh substrate. Now that these plants are squeaky clean and in their new substrate, you want to quarantine them. Things you really want to look out for: the plant completely dying and nuking itself. Not a good choice to use that. Brown spots on the leaves that radiate little yellow halos around them could indicate a fungal infection, and that's contagious to other plants, so isolate that individual one immediately. Something maybe like spider mites on the leaves. These are things you want to catch during quarantine well before they make it into a bioactive setup. And while we let these marinate, I'll finally have time to learn to juggle and repair any relationships that I might have with distant relatives that I haven't talked to in a few years. But as always, thank you so much, and I'll see you soon. Yeah, peace. I can already juggle, by the way. Look.